Hello everyone, welcome to the video on Mathematics 10. Today we're going to talk about the 3.2.3 graph to equation. Before we start, you need to know how to identify the y-intercept and the slope of the equation, which is in this format, the slope-intercept form. Also, you need to write down, you need to know how to write down the formats of the slope-intercept form, the general form, and the point-slope form. We'll discuss this at the end of this video. After this video, you should be able to look at a straight line on a graph and write its mathematical equation in multiple formats. Let's try the first example question. Given the graph below, find the equation of the function in slope-intercept form. So, what is a slope-intercept form? The slope-intercept form follows the format like this: y equals mx plus b. The m, the coefficient of x, represents the slope. The b value represents the y-intercept. So in other words, me asking you to write the equation in slope-intercept form means I'm asking you to find the slope and the y-intercept of this graph. Well, the first one is easy. The y-intercept is already there, so it's going to be 0, 7. But how do I find the slope? Well, let's use the slope formula, the rise over run here, to go from one point to the other point. I think we're rising by 2 points, and we're running by 6 points. So if I use the slope formula, slope equals rise over run. The slope is, the rise is 2 and the run is 6, so that's 1 over 3. So I found the slope, 1 over 3. I know the y-intercepts, so does it make enough information for us to write the equation? Oh yes, y equals, the slope is 1 over 3, 1 over 3 x, and the y-intercept is 7, so that's plus 7, and voila, that is the equation of this graph. Let's annotate the process. Well, first, as I written down here, m, the coefficient of x, is the slope, and b, the constant, is the y-intercept. Well, specifically, it's the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. And then I use the rise over run, the slope formula. So identify the points. One and 2. And then I count rise and run. And I use the formula. Afterwards, I'm going to write down the equation in the format of y equals mx plus b. Plug it. And y-intercept. And that's it. The equation is y equals 1 over 3 x plus 7. Let's try another example question. Given the graph below, find the equation of the function in general form and the point-slope form. So the general form and point-slope form, there are different formats of the linear equation. The general form looks like this. Ax plus by plus d equals 0. The general form, The special thing about the general form is that it's equals 0 on the right hand side. The point-slope form goes like this: y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. In the point-slope form, you see the usual letter m. The m stands for slope. And it has this weird x1 and y1. The x1 and y1 is a point on the line. So if I know a point on the line, I can automatically write down the x1 and y1, and I need to find the slope. Now notice that for the general form, I don't have the labels. I don't have A is this, B is this, D is that. Well, in fact, on the general form, A doesn't mean anything, B doesn't mean anything, D doesn't mean anything. Only when you combine those two numbers together, then we know the meaning of it. Well, it's a bit too much for me to explain, and I don't memorize these things myself too. So I'm just going to leave it like this. The special case is that it's equal to 0. So in order to find the equation of this graph, first I'm going to find the point slope form. Because I already know two of the points, it means I can find the slope. And I can plug in the slope, and I can plug in x1 and y1, and I'll know the point slope form. And then I'm going to convert it to the general form. So let's use the 2 points here. Let's draw the triangle. From the first point to the second point, my rise is -3, and my run is 2. Therefore, the slope formula, slope equals rise over run, is -3/2. Slope is -3/2. Now, let's use a point slope form. I'm going to use the point 1 here, 2, 2, for my point slope form. So write down the formula, y1 equals m times x minus x1, which means y minus y1. Let's write it down, y1, x1. y1 is 2. M is -3/2, and x is 2 as well. x1 is 2. And voila, that is my point slope form. Now, believe it or not, if you have chosen 4, -1 for the x1 and y1, it still doesn't make a difference. It will be the same equation. Now, let's move it. Let's make it into a general form. Well, in order to make it a general form, I need to empty out the right-hand side. I need to move everything to the left-hand side first in order to find a general form. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply both sides by -2/3. Then I'm going to have -2/3y plus 4/3 equals x minus 2. And then let's do minus x plus 2 on both sides. So that's -x minus 2/3y. 4/3 plus 2 is 4/3 plus 6/3. That's 10/3. Well, -x minus 2/3y plus 10/3 equals 0. Well, it is equal to 0, so that's a general form, right? Well, I don't like it because I have these fractions, but I don't like these negative signs too. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -3. -3, so that my -x becomes positive 3x. -2/3y becomes positive 2y. And 10/3 becomes -10. And that is a bit more aesthetically pleasing general form. So that's my point slope form, and that's my general form. Let's annotate the process. Well, first I find the slope. And then for this formula, the point slope form, maybe I can write either 2, 2 or 4, -1 work for point slope form. So y minus 2 equals -3/2 times x minus 2. This graph is equivalent to y plus 1 equals negative 3 over 2 times x minus 4. So you just choose whatever number, whatever point that you want. In order to make it into the general form, the steps that I'm doing is isolate the right hand side. So step by step, I multiply both sides by negative 2 over 3, and then minus x plus 2 on both sides. And then the last step is multiply by a constant to clean up the equation. So that's what I did. I multiplied by negative 3 here, so it becomes more aesthetically pleasing general form. Let's go through the formula that we've learned today. We learned about 3 formats: the slope-intercept form, general form, and the point-slope form. The slope-intercept form follows y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. The special thing about the slope-intercept form is that y is isolated on the left-hand side. The general form follows ax plus by plus d equals 0. The special thing about the general form is that the right-hand side is equal to 0. And lastly, the point-slope form, it looks like y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. M represents a slope, just like the slope-intercept form, and x1 comma y1 is a point on the line, and it can be any point on the line. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.